Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back to my channel. It feels so good to be back after a long time. I've of course had a few months off. It feels amazing to be back. Of course, let's start with the elephant in the room. As you can see, we have the channel rebrand. I am now the Gunners Galore Podcast. I am no longer the Gunners Gloves Podcast, so we can officially retire that name. Massive shout out to anybody who's been here at the time of it being called the Gunners Gloves Podcast. I really appreciate you. But at the same time, if you're just joining the channel when it's now called the Gunners Galore Podcast, then of course welcome to you guys as well. It's amazing to have you here. So just before I jump into my reaction to the Community Shield, I thought I'd quickly address why I have decided to rebrand the channel and convert it into an Arsenal only podcast. Of course, before it was also about boxing, but now I've decided to convert this into an Arsenal only podcast. And the first big reason for that is I just don't find myself enjoying talking about boxing as much on a podcast. Don't get me wrong, I still absolutely love the sport of boxing. I still watch it. It's definitely still a big passion of mine. However, I just don't find I have that same level of enjoyment converting that into a podcast as I do with Arsenal. With Arsenal, my speech feels natural, it flows well, whereas with boxing, it always feels a bit more laboured, a bit more difficult, and I just don't feel that I kind of produce the same quality of podcast as I do for Arsenal. I feel like my passion for Arsenal kind of comes out a bit more naturally than with boxing. I do really enjoy boxing, I enjoy watching boxing, but I would say that I probably enjoy talking about Arsenal more than I enjoy talking about boxing, so that's one reason. Secondly, just content burnout. I found doing Arsenal and doing boxing just kind of ended up being too much content for me, and it meant that I didn't enjoy making podcasts as much. So I'm hoping with the new season, having now converted this into an Arsenal only channel, I can be more consistent, because of course the only things I will need to be doing is of course making reaction videos to Arsenal games, which is going to be the main thing, and possibly some predicted 11s in there. And I am thinking about also continuing my basically doing shorts of my FPL team every week. Of course, FPL starts on Friday, so definitely looking forward to that. But I really hope you guys enjoy the rebrand. As you can see, it's still a GG just like before, so hopefully that means that my thumbnail structure can remain fairly similar, because obviously my thumbnails used to say GG podcast, which of course still applies in this case. But honestly, I'm really happy to have you guys here. Again, massive shout out to anybody who was around for the Gunners Gloves podcast days, but that podcast, after I think it was 120 episodes, has now been retired, and we are on to the Gunners Galore podcast. So anyway, feels really good to be back. Of course, I did really enjoy the World Cup, and I did really enjoy my summer off, but now I feel refreshed. I feel ready to have another go at this podcasting and just see what happens. So anyway, I don't want to waste too much of your time. One of my aims is going to be to try and make these podcasts a little bit less ranty. Rambly. Of course, don't get me wrong, it is a podcast, so I'm still going to be giving my opinions. I'm still going to be talking to you guys, but I definitely want to try and make it a bit less sort of rambly and kind of getting straight to the point. So let's get right into it. Of course, Arsenal's first game back of the 2026-27 season. We obviously did have pre-season, and I'm not going to lie, pre-season was quite poor, definitely. I mean, we had 1 win, 2 draws, and 1 loss. 2 losses, 1 win, 1 draw. Or am I getting it mistaken? Yeah, that's it. Correct. 1 draw, 1 win, 2 losses. There we go. Sorry, I got so confused there. But you can see, yeah, that just kind of shows how unmemorable the preseason was. Not a very good preseason. However, we looked a completely different side today, and I'm extremely happy with how we have kicked off the 2026-27 season, as of course we defeated Manchester City 3-0, and this was without even necessarily our first choice 11. Obviously, Lewis Skelly was in midfield, Ben White was at right back, Madueke was at right wing. Like, this was definitely not our first choice 11, but despite that, we still went ahead and put in a very thoroughly good performance. It was dominant, it was aggressive, we looked ruthless, and I'm extremely happy. And of course, that is now our 50th trophy in professional football, so obviously that's an amazing achievement. To reach 50 trophies is brilliant. Obviously, this is the reason why the Champions League would have been such a good way to get our 50th trophy, but alas, it feels really good to now have our 50th trophy. I just want to be clear, there is no bias for me when I'm referring to the Community Shield as a trophy. I don't care what team wins it. For me, it's always a trophy. It always will be a trophy. It doesn't matter if Spurs win it, Chelsea win it, Man United win it. For me, it will always be a trophy, so I just want to get that out of the way immediately. There is no bias from me when I'm calling it a trophy, because I would refer to it as trophy no matter what team wins it. So did definitely want to just clarify that. But yeah, so obviously really good way to start the season. It's also Arteta's 5th trophy at Arsenal, his 3rd Community Shield, so obviously it's great to see Arteta continuing to do really well, and it is very much sounding like he will be signing that new contract, which is obviously delightful news. and it's just a fantastic way to start the season. So anyway, let's go ahead and get into the game. So obviously we had an absolutely blistering start, and we've actually set the record for the fastest goal ever scored in the Community Shield, with Ricardo Calafiori scoring in only 25 seconds. It was fantastic work from Lewis Skelly. Lewis Skelly with a brilliant ball. He just continues to look so good in midfield, and again, it's really nice to see him flourishing so much after all of those links away to the likes of Man United and Chelsea. It's very clear that there was never anything in those. It's very clear that he is an Arsenal player and will remain as such, hopefully for a very long time. But yeah, fantastic ball in to Calafiori, and then Calafiori with a clinical finish. Interestingly enough, it's actually the second season in a row where Calafiori is our first goal scorer, because remember last year he of course opened up our campaign with a goal against Manchester United, so quite interesting how he's done it again. But yeah, really good finish. And funnily enough, his ownership on FPL has actually gone up quite a bit during that time, because obviously people were already considering him due to how expensive Gabriel is, and now having scored, naturally a lot of people have gone ahead and put Calafiori in their drafts. So do let me know if you're one of those people. But yeah, really clinical finish. We know that Calafiori has always had an eye for goal, and he definitely took it brilliantly. In fact, throughout the whole game he was super dangerous, super threatening. Gabriel is obviously our most attacking defender on set pieces, but without a doubt Calafiori is the most threatening from open play, definitely. There is also Timber, but I'd say Calafiori is always just so aggressive, so threatening, and always looks incredibly good on the eye, in the sense of attack. So obviously that was a delightful start, just the perfect way to start. Really good finish, and just, yeah, amazing. You know, it showed immediately our intent, it showed immediately, and I think it really just set the precedent for what would go on to be a very dominant performance. Then of course the other goal was scored by Kai Havertz. Now again, a lot of people always debate whether it should be Havertz or Gyökeres starting these bigger games, but I think it's starting to become a pattern that Kai Havertz simply can be relied upon in big games. Obviously, he scored today. He scored the winner against Sporting. He obviously scored the equaliser against Leverkusen. He scored the equaliser against City. I know we went on to lose that game in April, but he still scored the equaliser. He obviously scored in the 1-0 win against Burnley in the lead up to the title. So it's clear that Kai Havertz is just very underrated when it comes to big game moments, and he's just someone you can really rely on. And then of course that moves me on to Christos Zolis. Christos Zolis, of course, making his competitive debut for Arsenal. As much as preseason was poor, Christos Zolis was without a doubt one of the shining lights of preseason, and he was absolutely outstanding today. Got 2 assists, looked so good. In fact, he's the first player since Willian to actually get 2 assists or more in his debut for Arsenal, which of course is great. Of course, let's hope it turns out a bit better for Zolis at Arsenal than it did for Willian at Arsenal, but alas, a really good performance. So first it's actually Martin Odegaard, who by the way I'll get onto in a second because he was brilliant as well. But for the second goal, Martin Odegaard puts a good cross into the box, which Zolis meets. He heads it across, and then Kai Havertz with a clinical header into the back of the net. There was definitely a bit of fortune with that goal. I'm not going to deny it, because obviously Donnarumma did sort of make a save, but they kind of bounced off of him into the goal. But alas, just a good and clinical finishing from Kai Havertz, and again brilliant from Zolis to make the leap, jump, get the ball across, and then score. So really good, and obviously that put us 2-0 up. And I think from there we were just fully relaxed, fully free-flowing. To be honest, we definitely should have scored more today. Like, we did have some other big chances. One of the main ones that comes to mind is, of course, Saka. When Nketiah put in an excellent ball into Bukayo Saka, and Bukayo Saka hit it over the crossbar. Also, when Saka shot and hit the side net, he definitely could have squared it there. So there were definitely other big chances that we could have scored from. Calafiori also, from the top of my head, I think took a volley, which didn't quite go in. So definitely some big chances today. But that was a really good second goal from, of course, Kai Havertz, and a really good assist from Christos Zolis. And then in terms of the third goal, that was scored by Martin Odegaard. Martin Odegaard for me was absolutely outstanding today. A lot of people are even saying he's man of the match, and while that might be a little bit harsh on Zolis, because Zolis did score twice, I do definitely agree. I think Martin Odegaard was so good today. He was everywhere. I mean, the passing was brilliant, the attacking threat, the defensive work. That's one thing about Odegaard's game that I think is very underrated, is his defensive work is good, man. He puts in a serious shift defensively. Like, he's no joke from a defensive standpoint. He puts in a very big shift. But honestly, Odegaard for me, I'm just so happy to see him genuinely playing very well. So in terms of the finish, again, it was a good ball in by Christos Zolis. And then honestly, this was so good. This is just the clip that's been going around everywhere, and I feel like the clip that Arsenal fans have been watching over and over again. But he fakes out Donnarumma, sits him down, and then just slots it home really comfortably. That was just such an Odegaard-esque finish, just really relaxed, does the fake out shot, and then just slots it home very comfortably. But that was obviously great to see Martin Odegaard scoring, and then obviously everyone was very happy for him. And yeah, it was just a really dominant performance. I thought our signings looked really good. There was also Bruno Guimaraes, of course, made his debut. To be honest, I didn't think it was the best debut. I didn't think he was particularly good today, but he wasn't terrible. He was kind of just okay today. He got a full half, 45 minutes, of course, but he's still being bedded into the squad. But either way, it was good to see him get a run out there, and of course to get his first trophy in his first game, same as Zolis. Of course, it's great to be given our signings trophies immediately, and hopefully that is something that continues. So yeah, honestly, I thought it was a very, very good performance. There were some notable absentees from the squad: Gabriel Martinelli, Gabriel Jesus, and Ethan Nwaneri. As far as we know, none of them are injured, so you have to just naturally assume that they're probably on their way out. We know Gabriel Jesus has been heavily linked with a move to Napoli, and that continues to advance. Gabriel Martinelli's obviously been linked with a move away as well. He did decline a Galatasaray move, so we'll see what happens with that. But I just reckon the fact that they weren't included in the squad, to me, is kind of an indicator that maybe, their time at the club could be up. But yeah, honestly, really dominant, really, really exciting performance. Obviously, it was great to see Arsenal lift the trophy. Obviously, Martin Odegaard as the captain, and then there was that really funny moment of Declan Rice lifting it and like the bottom of it hit his head. I thought that was quite funny, but no, just really good. And it's great to see the squad playing with a lot less pressure. One of the biggest talking points last year was, we always looked super nervous in games, and it's understandable. You're trying to get over the line for the first time in 22 years. Of course, there's always going to be a lot of pressure, but what we're all hoping now is that now that we have gotten over the line, now that we've gotten that chip off our shoulder, we can just go out there, play expansively, play really excitingly. And to be fair, I did think today we were very, very creative. We had loads of chances, we scored 3 goals, and just in general looked really, really free flowing. So hopefully that is something that continues. It was also great to see David Raya back in goal as well. Obviously Kepa did have a bit of a rough preseason, as did Meslier, so really good to see David Raya back in goal, and he was brilliant as well. I feel like in these wins, David Raya always goes really underappreciated, and he's always a bit of an unsung hero. But again, he was brilliant today, made some huge saves. That one, especially against Haaland, where Haaland hit it hard and Raya got down, made the save. I thought that was very, very good. So obviously brilliant to see David Raya back to top form. Obviously he didn't get any minutes in the World Cup, which was a shame, but it was nice to see him get the trophy anyway. But yeah, aside from that, we also saw Zubimendi come on, which was great to see. Obviously there's been a lot of speculation around his future, but hopefully he stays. And yeah, obviously that's about it. There's not really much more to say than that. City did have some chances, but all in all, I felt like we were definitely the far superior side. I thought we were creative, we were dominant, we were aggressive, and David Raya did his job and called upon it. Ben White, I also thought he had a brilliant performance. Ben White, he was definitely brilliant, and interestingly enough, from an FPL perspective, he was actually the only player that would have hit defensive contributions in our defense, so make of that what you will. But obviously good to see Ben White stepping up, because we know that Timber still has a few weeks before he's back, so seeing Ben White stepping up and playing well is fantastic to see. Again, will White continue to be the definitive starter? We'll find out. Obviously, we are being very heavily linked to the likes of Konsa and also to Jarell Quansah over at Bayer Leverkusen, both players being heavily linked, and as we know, players that can play both centre-back and right-back. So yeah, but pretty much I thought, considering that we didn't even have our full first team squad, we didn't even necessarily, play fully in first, we didn't like entirely exit first gear for most of the game. I thought we were just kind of, very good, very relaxed, but also we didn't go into like the full, gears that we could. I definitely feel like we've got more gears to give, and hopefully we will see that against Coventry on Friday. But fantastic performance, first trophy of the season, Arteta's 5th overall, and as I said, the 50th trophy that Arsenal has won in their history. So it's great to get to 50, and hopefully we can make that 51, 52, etc., because now we move on to the big prizes, the Premier League, the Champions League, etc., and that's what we've got to be focusing on. We'll see if we make any more signings in this window. It'll be interesting. Of course, as I said, we're being very heavily linked to Jarell Quansah, and also of course to Ezri Konsa. That's the other one we're being linked to. And then from an attacking perspective, there's so many players being linked. You've got Williams, you've got Alvarez, you've got Osimhen recently started being linked as well. So many different players, and even Neto. Well, of course I hope Neto doesn't happen, but yeah, anyway, don't want to ramble on for too much longer. That is the summary. Arsenal versus Manchester City, we won 3-0, goals from Calafiori, Havertz and Odegaard, 2 assists from Zolis, and also an assist from Lewis Skelly. In terms of who I thought were some of our best players, I think Odegaard, Zolis, I would definitely include Raya in there, so Odegaard, Zolis, Raya, And yeah, I think I'll call those our three best players: Odegaard, Zolis, and Raya. I thought the others were also very good, Kai Havertz, etc. But I think if I was to rank the three best players for me, it was Raya, Zolis, and Odegaard. They were the three best. So really hope you guys enjoyed that. It feels fantastic to be back, and I hope you guys enjoyed the rebrand. Again, massive shout out to anybody who's been around since the Gunners and Gloves podcast days, and thank you very much if you're now joining me for the Gunners Galore podcast journey. It feels really good to now just kind of have the pressure off, focus fully on Arsenal, and kind of just enjoy making content again. So yeah, please let me know down below what more you want to see. I will of course be back on Friday for a match reaction to the Coventry game, and also if we make any signings between now and Friday, I will make a video about the signing. Obviously I wasn't making videos when we signed Bruno G and Christos Zolis, but obviously they're very good signings that I'm happy with. But hopefully one or two more signings before the end of the transfer window. I'll definitely make a video by Friday if we do make one. And then obviously I will be back on Friday for the opening of the season, Coventry at home. I'm super excited. I'll also make sure to post my game week 1 FPL team next weekend. But anyway, thank you guys so much for listening. Have a good day. Please let me know down below what more you want to see from the Gunners Galore podcast. Please let me know what some of your favorite memories were from the Gunners and Gloves podcast, and have a lovely day. Thank you guys. See you next time.